Hello everyone, hope you are happy and doing well. Welcome to my channel EcoVironmentology. In this video, we will talk about Global Climate Risk Index 2021 and who suffers most from extreme weather events. The Global Climate Risk Index indicates a level of exposure and vulnerability to extreme weather events, which countries should understand as warnings in order to be prepared for more frequent or more severe events in the future. The most recent data available for 2019 and from 2000 to 2019 were taken into account. The countries had territories affected most in 2019 were Mozambique, Zimbabwe, as well as Bahamas. For the period from 2000 to 2019, Puerto Rico, Myanmar, and Haiti ranked highest. This year's 16th edition of the analysis confirms earlier results of the Climate Risk Index that developed countries are generally more affected than industrialized countries. Regarding future climate change, the Climate Risk Index may serve as a red flag for already existing vulnerability that may further increase in regions where extreme events will become more frequent or more severe due to climate change. The Global Climate Risk Index, developed by German Watch analysis, quantifies impacts of extreme weather events, both in terms of the fatalities as well as the economic losses that occurred. The countries ranking highest are the ones most impacted by extreme weather events and should consider the GCRI as a warning sign that they are at risk of either frequent events or rare but extraordinary catastrophes. Countries most affected in 2019. Number 1 is Mozambique. GCRI score is 2.67. In March 2019, the intense tropical cyclone Idai hit Mozambique, causing catastrophic damage and a humanitarian crisis. The torrential rains and destructive winds with top speed of 195 km per hour caused flash floods and landslides, which caused economic losses. And in the country, the cyclone affected millions and caused 700 fatalities. 6 weeks after the devastation of Cyclone Idai, Mozambique was hit by another cyclone when Category 4 Cyclone Kenneth made landfall in northern Mozambique. Kenneth was the strongest cyclone ever recorded on the African continent, with speed peaking at 220 km per hour and floods with a height of 2.5 meters. The overall damage amounted to more than $3.2 billion, approximately as high as half of the Mozambique's national budget, mostly in the manufacturing, infrastructure, and social sectors. Overall, Idai and Kenneth led to the death of over 600 people and over 1,600 were injured. 2.5 million people were in the need of humanitarian services and over 200,000 houses were destroyed. Number 2 is Zimbabwe. GCRI score is 6.17. In March 2019, the intense tropical cyclone Idai hit Zimbabwe, causing catastrophic damage and a humanitarian crisis. The cyclone impacted 50,000 households and displaced over 60,000 people in the country, which caused economic losses amounting to $622 million. In the country, the cyclone affected 2,700 people and caused 347 fatalities. Number 3 is Bahamas. GCRI score is 6.50. Hurricane Dorian made landfall on Bahamas in September 2019 as a Category 5 hurricane, the most powerful hurricane on record to hit the island state. Dorian reached sustained wind speed of 300 km per hour, causing heavy rainfalls of 914 mm, about 80% of the annual average of the rain within a few hours. Overall, the hurricane caused damage of $3.4 billion and damaged or destroyed 13,000 houses and 74 people were killed. Moreover, during the storm, an oil spill occurred on an oil port of the Norwegian State Oil and Gas Company, which polluted the soil and negatively impacted the marine life. Number 4 is Japan. GCRI score is 14.50. In October 2019, Japan was hit by Typhoon Hagibis, the most powerful typhoon in Japan in more than 60 years. With top wind speed reaching 250 km per hour, Hagibis was classified as the very strong, which is equivalent to a Category 5 hurricane. In Tokai, Kanto, and Tohoku regions, the total rainfall in 72 hours was up to between 750 mm and 1000 mm, between 50 to 70% of the annual average. Overall, nearly 100 people died, over 230 people were injured, and 13,000 houses were damaged, destroyed, or exposed to water. The economic damage caused by the two typhoons is estimated at US $25 billion. In September, Japan had already been hit by Typhoon Fahai, which made landfall near Tokyo, leaving more than 900,000 homes without power. With winds of up to 210 km per hour, Fahai has been one of the strongest typhoons to hit the Japanese capital in a decade. Japan experienced a heat wave in August 2019, causing over 18,000 heat-related hospitalizations and killing 57. In May 2019, the temperatures in the prefecture of Hokkaido had already been gone up to 39.5 degrees Celsius, the highest figure ever recorded in the month of May anywhere in Japan. Number 6 is Malawi. GCRI score is 15.17. In March 2019, the intense tropical cyclone Idai hit Malawi, causing catastrophic damage and a humanitarian crisis. For Malawi, the year 2019 started with heavy rainfalls, which led to an increased risk of floods. When Idai hit Malawi in March, it directly affected 975,000 people and left over 125,000 homeless. Due to the heavy rainfall and floods caused by Idai, 60 people were killed and over 650 injured. Malawi's economy is heavily dependent on agriculture, employing nearly 80% of the population, and it is therefore vulnerable to external shocks, particularly climate shocks. Number 6 is Islamic Republic of Afghanistan. GCRI score is 16.00. The Islamic Republic of Afghanistan experienced severe floods and landslides throughout the year caused by heavy rainfall. The floods in March 2019 were the most devastating. Approximately 1,000 people were affected and 12,000 homes were either destroyed or damaged by the floods and mudslides. Over 75 people died. In April and May 2019, another 40 people died because of deadly flash floods. Furthermore, landslides occurred in January and December, killing a total of 35 people. Due to severe droughts in 2018, the coping capacity of the people affected was already very low. Number 7. India. GCRI score is 16.67. India was affected by the yearly monsoon season, which typically lasts from June to early September. In 2019, these monsoon conditions continued for a month longer than usual, with the surplus of rain causing major hardships. Overall, 11.8 million people were affected by the intense monsoon season, with economic damage estimated to be US $10 billion. From June to the end of September 2019, 110% of the normal rainfall occurred, the most since 1994. The flood caused by the heavy rains were responsible for 1,800 deaths across 14 states and led to the displacement of 1.8 million people. Furthermore, with a total of 8 tropical cyclones, the year 2019 was one of the most active Northern Indian Ocean cyclone season on record. 6 of the 8 cyclones intensified to become very severe. The worst was Cyclone Fani in May 2019, which affected a total of 28 million people, killing nearly 90 people in India and Bangladesh and causing economic losses of US $8.1 billion. Number 8 is South Sudan. CRI score is 17.33. South Sudan suffered because of the abnormal severe flooding following heavy rainfalls lasting from June 2019 until the end of the year. These affected over 900,000 people, 620,000 of whom required immediate humanitarian assistance. The floods damaged 74,000 hectares of cultivated land, which amounts to a loss of over 70,000 metric tons of cereal. South Sudan required US $61.5 million to respond to immediate flood-induced damage. Despite the floods, bushfires intensified and spread due to the strong winds and hit 4 villages in South Sudan's western region, causing 50 fatalities and injured over 60 people. The fire destroyed 138 houses and killed 10,000 cattle. Number 9 is Niger. CRI score is 18.717. Heavy rains caused massive flooding in Niger, mainly in the regions Pradi, Zinder and Agadez. The Niger River reached an alarming water level of 640 centimeters, the normal level being 550 centimeters, damaging houses as well as various crops and agricultural developments. The floods were responsible for 57 fatalities and over 16,000 destroyed houses, affecting more than 210,000 people, of which 123,000 were children. Number 10, Bolivia. CRI score is 19.67. Bolivia suffered due to wildfires that destroyed 2 million hectares of forest and grassland, with almost half of the losses being protected areas with high biodiversity. It is estimated that the regeneration of the local ecosystem will take about 300 years. Furthermore, Bolivia experienced heavy rainfalls and flooding throughout the year. In April 2019, of the 338 municipalities were under a state of disaster and 25 were under a state of emergency. In total, 34 people died and over 23,000 families became homeless. In January 2019, the Ismo River stood at 9.35 meters, about 1 meter above the danger mark. Table of countries most affected in 2019. It shows the 10 most affected countries in 2019 with their average weighted ranking, CRI score, and the specific results relating to the 4 indicators analyzed. Next is the map of 10 most affected countries in 2019. Countries most affected in the period 2000 to 2019. Puerto Rico, Myanmar, and Haiti have been identified as the most affected countries in this 20-year period. They are followed by Philippines, Mozambique, and the Bahamas. Table of countries most affected in the period 2000 to 2019. Table 2 shows the 10 most affected countries over the last 2 decades with their average weighted ranking and the specific results relating to the 4 indicators. Compared to the long-term CRI 2020, which considered the period from 1999 to 2018, Two new countries have entered the bottom 10, while most countries have ranked similarly to the year before. Puerto Rico, Myanmar, and Haiti have been remained the three most affected countries over the past 2 decades. These rankings are attributed to the aftermath of exceptionally devastating events, such as Hurricane Maria in Puerto Rico in 2017. Hurricane Jane 2004 and Sandy 2012 in Haiti, and Myanmar was struck hard by Cyclone Idris in 2008, which was responsible for the loss of an estimated 100,000 lives as well as the loss and damage of property of approximately 2.4 million people. The Global Climate Risk Index 2021 for the period 2000 to 2019 is based on average values over a 20-year period. The list of countries featured in the long-term bottom 10 can be divided into two groups. Firstly, those which were most affected due to exceptional catastrophes. Secondly, those which are affected by extreme events on an ongoing basis. First category. Countries falling into the first category include Myanmar, where Cyclone Idris in 2008 caused more than 95% of the damage and fatalities over the past 2 decades. And Puerto Rico, where more than 98% of the damage in both categories was caused by Hurricane Maria in 2017. With new superlatives like Cyclone Idai in March 2019 being the deadliest and costliest cyclone on record in the Indian Ocean and one of the worst tropical cyclones ever to affect Africa and the Southern Hemisphere. This year 2017 hurricane season had already made 2017 the costliest year ever in terms of global weather disasters. Over the last few years, the second category of countries has been gaining relevance. Countries like Haiti, the Philippines, and Pakistan that are recurrently affected by catastrophe. These countries continuously rank among the most affected countries both in the long-term index and in the index for each respective year. Furthermore, some countries were still in the process of recovering from the previous year's impacts. One example is the Philippines, which is regularly exposed to tropical cyclones such as 2008 and 2013 among 2018 due to its geographical location. And here is the map of countries most affected in the period 2000 to 2019. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. The links are given in the description. Stay safe and healthy. Take care of yourselves and others. Goodbye, everyone.